Hey, it's Alex and Allison, and we are live from Sawmill Square Mall.
You're back!
We're back, and we're glad to be back here in Jones County.
Yep.
And today we have a very special show.
Yep.
Let's get it started right off the bat,
do this.
and then we'll explain later.
Yes, this is going to be a pretty little interesting experiment. We've got this going on today.
I'm
making a
going to
call.
reach out to Major Jamie Tedford.
I'm reaching out to Captain Jason Buxton.
Major Jamie Tedford, you're on Live SO.
Hey there.
Tell us right now where you're located, Major.
Here about that Jones County
Hey, hold on.
line on I-59.
All right, you're on the Jones County, Forest County line on I-59, and that's good. And you'll be traveling north to the Jones-Jasper County line. And we want you to keep us posted because we want the citizens to be able to see what we're about to show them, okay?
Okay.
All right, check back with us about halfway through.
Yes, sir.
All right.
All right, and now we're also on the phone with Captain Jason Buxton. And by the way, everybody's using speakerphones, and they knew that we were going to call. Captain Buxton, where's your starting point? All right, that's the Covington County line on Highway 84. And so you're going to make your way across Jones County, and we're going to talk to you in just a little bit, okay? All right, there we go. Thank you.
Okay,
All
folks,
right.
what we're doing is, there's been a lot of talk about coverage and how big Jones County is, and we wanted just to give you a realistic illustration, and we're using 4-lane highways to do that, not 2-lane roads. We actually, Major Jamie Tedford, as you just heard, is on Interstate 59. He is at the Forest and Jones County line, and he will be making his long track across Jones County to the Jones-Jasper County line. And he's going to check in with us about midway. And then Captain Jason Buxton, as we just talked with, is at the Covington-Jones County line on Highway 84. And he'll be tracking across Highway 84 through Laurel, across to the Wayne County line. Allison, that's a long way.
It is a long way, and there's one thing about, sometimes maps can throw you off, and that doesn't look very big. Well, I'll be honest with you. I saw this map of Jones County, and Jones County is huge. And we kind of get lost in the fact that our mom and dad may live next door, or we only have to go a few miles. There's a movie, I saw a movie one time, and they complained of having to drive 9 miles to the store. 9 miles would be so close for me if I only had to drive 9 miles to go to the grocery store.
Long way to go.
So it is, but it's my comfort zone. It's where I am, and I kind of lose track of how many miles Jones County encompasses. And so this is a good figure, but this driving test, this is going to be
This is going to be neat.
interesting.
Thank you, Gwen Lewis, my sister, for the idea from Columbus, Georgia.
She's so good.
We appreciate the idea of actually doing this as an illustration, and so I think it's going to be neat. Hey, let's get it kicked off with Mitchell.
All right,
Mitchell with
come on
Cosmic
in.
Cafe.
Now,
welcome him into the program.
Well, hey, thank you for letting us set up shop. It's your last day at Sawmill Square, but boy, you've got some big things planned.
Yeah, we do. Sawmill Square has been really good to us. We have enjoyed being here. But the spot that we're in is kind of small, so we saw a need for growth. So we do have some great ideas for the future. We want to have a nicer dinner menu. We want to do breakfast.
Whoa,
Yeah,
really?
Yeah.
So it's be breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Dinner on the weekend,
On the weekend.
Thursday, Friday night, Saturday, and then we want to do a nice Sunday brunch, right?
Oh, boy, you are so speaking my language. I love it. Well, but this has been good. How long have you been at Sawmill Square?
A little over a year, like a year and 3 months that we have been here.
And you have grown that fast. Jones County has really, I've come by here and going, okay, where can we sit? First it was tables, and then a few more tables outside, and so now you're just kind of busting at the seams.
Yeah, the community has been very good to us. They have. When we came here, I really didn't know a lot of people. Like I said, my family's from Wayne County, but my wife grew up here in Laurel. But I got to meeting people, and they've been so nice to us and so friendly and welcoming. Jones County's been this opened arms, and now we have to expand. And
from what I understand, it's also you that provides such a great customer service, and not to mention delicious food. Also the cooking that you do is wonderful. But I've just seen it, and anybody's around can see how the customer matters to you, and that customer service is truly what even Jones County Sheriff's Department. We're out to make sure that the citizens are happy.
Absolutely. Mitchell, why don't you tell the people where y'all moving to so they can find Cosmic Cafe?
We're not going far. We're literally going right off of Leontine Price, or if you've been in this town for a long time, many of us still call it Beacon Street, directly behind that little Choctaw post office. It's a little strip of shops, and some may remember it was where Olin Mills had their photography center back in the 80s, and they did a really nice job, the owners of that property, getting it ready for us. So it's going to be a very nice little spot. Once again, that's right off Leontine Price Boulevard. You can't miss it.
Great. What's your schedule today? Your final day at Sawmill Square.
Well, we're going to be open for lunch today. We're going to close down at 3 o'clock, and then that will be it.
Everybody's on winter day?
Everybody's a winner today. You come in. We have a large jar up front. You may win a free meal. We just had a lady win a free entree. We had several individuals win free cheesecake today, so you never know. Or 10-20% off a meal.
That's great.
Thank you,
Mitchell,
Mitchell.
thank
We
you
appreciate
so
you.
much.
Thank you for
Thank you
joining
for
us.
letting us
Appreciate
be
it.
here. We
And we
appreciate it.
appreciate y'all guys.
Yes, sir.
Oh, man,
Certainly,
that's great.
Cosmic Cafe here in Laurel certainly welcomes you to come and have wonderful food. And everybody's very familiar with those sawmill photographing Olin Mills or whatever they used to call it over
Yeah.
here next to the.
But more people have asked, by the post office, and people go, there's a post office?
I believe it's
there?
called the Choctaw
yes.
Post Office. But hey, we've got a lot of things
Yes,
going on,
so
a
much
lot of
happening.
things that are moving. We got some very good special guests that's going to be joining us today as we begin to talk about the things that we face in law enforcement and
Absolutely.
the challenges that we're facing in law enforcement. And so let's welcome our friend Sheriff Danny Rigel.
Come on,
Danny
Sheriff.
Rigel from Lamar County.
Also,
Sheriff Rigel.
in case people are just joining us while he's sitting down, don't forget that Major Tedford and Captain Buxton are en route right now, going from north to south and east to west through Jones County, just to see how long it does take to get from one point to the other.
That's going to be very interesting. Welcome, my friend, Sheriff Danny Rigel from Lamar County. And Sheriff Rigel and I have been friends for a long time, and I really love and admire and appreciate him, not only as an individual, but as a sheriff. He's been very supportive of me and my growth, and actually was the one that nominated me for the Mississippi Sheriff's Association president. And he constantly, out of all sheriffs, is always reaching out and offering encouragement as we face what we do on a day-to-day basis. Sheriff, I know y'all been busy.
Oh, yeah.
More than I'd like to.
Yeah, I know y'all were in the news yesterday, and I know you got a big case working. Why don't you tell the people what's going on?
It was tragic. We had a report of a missing person, and family members and neighbors found him in his residence in a chest freezer. And he looks like he'd been there for a while. And their body's up in Jackson getting an autopsy today. We worked all through the night. We put 3 people in jail, not for the actual murder, but for stealing stuff out of the house, which we think was associated with the murder. But we have 3 individuals in custody, and we're expecting more arrests. It's real tragic.
A very
Very
tragic
much so.
case. And I know that that's just one of many that y'all work just like we do, and as your deputies are out patrolling across the county and finding all. I mean, today is no longer the days of Andy Griffith.
No, we don't live in Mayberry anymore.
From the standpoint of as sheriff, what's some of the most, I guess, alarming and shocking things, Sheriff, that you see and that you yourself have dealt with and your people are dealing with?
Well, I've been in law enforcement 36 years. I retired from Hattiesburg Police, and I was over the crime scene unit in the detective division for a long time. So I've seen a lot, and just when you think you've seen it all, something else happens. I mean, that's what's unique about this profession. It changes every day. You can't say you've seen everything because you haven't. There's something else out there. What really tugs at my heart is crimes against children and crimes against the elderly, because that's kind of the 2 age groups that can't protect themselves. And that's what we're there for. But anytime you harm a child or an elderly person, it just makes it tough.
That's something as we've talked about up here, these crimes that we're seeing, the sexual abuse of our children, and we're not talking about a few, we're talking about a bunch of crimes against our children, our elderly. What do you think's at the heart of that? I mean, where are we at as a society to see that type of thing playing out across our country?
I don't want to sound like a cliche, but a lot of it goes to the breakdown of the family unit. I mean, you've heard it time and time again, but I mean, it's true. A lot of people don't practice the values that previous generations do. Respect for life. A lot of things, I think, is attributed to what you see in the media, the movies and stuff. A lot of these kids are desensitized to you know, they think that somebody's going to get shot and they're going to run off. And, I mean, you get shot, it's pretty permanent.
Right.
You know, they don't realize that. And you know, when we were growing up in previous generations, if you had a gripe with somebody, you tried to talk it out or nothing else, fought it out with fists. Now they're quick to pull out a gun, a knife, or something like that. And I think tempers have gotten shorter. You know, like I do, that domestic violence is on the increase, and it's really hard to battle because a lot of times it happens behind closed doors, and law enforcement's not aware of it until we get called there. And on top of that, that's one of the most dangerous calls you can respond to because sometimes they both turn on you. You know.
Well, and you said, you know, the lack of respect toward human life, but it honestly is a lack of respect to just common decency.
Sure.
And I think if we could even ask somebody to start that there, hold the door open for an elderly. I mean, as trivial as you think it might be, if everybody just did that one respectful thing and it mounted, what amazing change, because by not doing those simple, respectful things, we're in the position that we are now.
Yeah, exactly. And unless something changes, it's going to get worse.
Right.
And that's something we continue to talk about. It's not changing for the better; it's changing for the worse. And it's dang if you do, dang if you don't. In our position, wouldn't you say, Sheriff?
Catch-22.
Catch-22. Yesterday, we've been talking about a lot of things here in the news. I'm sure you haven't heard, but we.
Yeah, he's been talking. Yeah, but you didn't know that.
But
in a barrel.
Matter of fact, whenever he said, "Hey, we're still on for tomorrow," I said, "Yes, we are." He said, "I'm wearing my vest." No, it's not that bad. But one of the things that and I love criticism that I was criticized for, is telling the people, look, we're getting hammered with burglaries, and we don't have enough deputy sheriffs out there to give you the adequate protection. As sheriff, how do you feel about our responsibility to inform people?
Well, I mean that's primary. A lot of the stuff is the prevention. We don't want to be reactive. We want to be proactive, and we get the message out there, and we work with the people. That's why we're real big on directed patrols and community policing. Get to know the people in the neighborhood, but it's really hard if you're understaffed.
Absolutely. Yeah, understaffing is certainly a big issue that we face, and I know y'all are running a lot of calls. A lot of times Lamar County is compared to Jones County in size and population and other things, education, the size of our education departments and all. And we are facing a lot of challenges. And when you look at your deputy sheriffs and the number of calls that they're running, where's your heart at with your deputies and what you hear of them and see them physically going through on a day-to-day basis?
Well, if anybody asks, you can never have enough law enforcement. If they give me 5, I'll ask for 6. I mean, because it's a stressful job. You do need a little bit of downtime. And sometimes you need downtime between calls. But when you're going back to back, call to call, you don't have time to gather your thoughts. And when you go into a situation, you've got to be sharp mentally, physically, and if your mind's still on the call with a beaten child or something, and now you've got to go do a domestic thing, you don't have time to go down. So more people would give you, the call rotation would be longer before you go.
Speaking of stress, who that you got with you today?
Oh, poor thing.
Let me let Brayden come in here, and Sheriff, and I'll let you talk about it. But when you talk about the stress and the type of calls that these deputies are seeing, I know Brayden, and by the way, thank you for giving him a chance in law enforcement.
Turned out to be a great officer.
But when you start talking about him at 21 years old, he's been on since October. And just a while ago, you said he's already seen. Talk about a 21-year-old officer and some of the stuff he's already been exposed to, and the stresses that brings on him as a person.
Well, I mean, this profession, you see the worst of the worst. And I think Brayden's seen the worst of the worst since he's been here.
Yeah.
We were talking about it yesterday because he responded to the murder yesterday. And we've had 2 since the first of the year, and he's been involved in both of them. And we've had numerous suicides. It seems like he's been a part of those too. You see that. That's just a normal part of it. But you can ask Brayden. I mean, that's not the kind of thing that hard to process.
You don't check it at the door either.
No, it's not what you expect.
Lean up a little bit where they can hear you better.
Well, you don't go to school to learn how to deal. I mean, training couldn't all be, this is what you're about to see.
Exactly. No, I mean, we had great training at the police academy I went to. I had a great FTOs. I had 2 FTO officers that trained me, which is field training. You can't really be trained and prepared for that first really serious violent call that you go on. It's just something that you have to react to, and it's something that you have to just be prepared for mentally. Mental strength is really big in that.
What about after the shift ends? I mean, I think that's where a lot of people, Sheriff, think that we're robotic, that we're superhuman, and that we can just deal with everything. But I think you'll agree that statistics in law enforcement are very alarming when you look at alcoholism, divorce, suicide. All of these things is directly related to the job.
It does, and that's why we encourage outside interests, hobbies, sports. A lot of the guys go to the gym before and after shift just to release some of that tension, because then we go home and we're human like everybody else. We're husbands, we're fathers, so we have the stresses that goes along with just raising a family. So it's a continual thing.
And
How are you dealing with it after? What do you talk about after the shift?
you have to be able to decompress. That's a big thing. We were taught that at my police academy. You have to have an out, per se, like Sheriff would say, in the gym. Or I'm lucky enough to have a strong core of people around me, friends, family, and coworkers that I can talk to about things like that. But I like to go to the gym. I like to just hang out with my friends or my family. That's a way I can decompress. As the case that we just worked, I go home and it's 11:30, 12 o'clock at night. I'm still up, still thinking about scenarios, what possibly could happen. I'm like, man, just quit reviewing your notes for a minute. It's going to be okay. This is going to be a long, drawn-out process. Pray about it and let's go to sleep. So that's kind of where I was with the case yesterday.
Yeah.
Wow.
What do you think when you, and I know you can't talk a whole lot about it, but what do you think when you get a call like that and then you get out there and discover that, in fact, there's been a murder and a body is found in a deep freezer?
Well, you automatically, as an officer, especially a first responding officer, luckily I was able to be on scene at the same time as 2 of our investigators. They went with me just because of the nature of the call. But you automatically start thinking who, what, where, when, and how. You got to start thinking those questions. You got to start putting pieces together and preserving the scene, preserving evidence, and keeping people that don't need to be there out. So that's automatically where I went.
Well, we appreciate you joining, and I thank you for coming
Absolutely.
on today, and we'll be with you, man.
You know, you got to do all that, and you have to be there. And you know, like Brayden was talking about, Sheriff was talking about decompressing. But then when you go out in public and you don't find the support, I would think, and I've never been in the shoes that you are in, but when someone, a complete stranger even, comes in and says, thank you for what you do, that has got to help that bit of decompression, or to be able to handle and to deal. Just knowing that one person is like, I appreciate that. A good job, and you're supported.
You know, probably one thing that means most to me in my entire career, as far as that goes, is he's deceased now. But I put a guy in prison for murder, and until he died, I had a Christmas card from him.
Your kid.
He said thank you for saving his life, because he was going to die earlier. And when I first got it, I thought, this is a joke, but it was heartfelt. And for some guy that you put away for the rest of his life thanks you for what you did. That's when I was an investigator several years ago. You know, when just somebody that out of random says thank you. And we live in South Mississippi is a great place to live. We have so much support from the community, and it's reassuring to know that the community supports you in what you do.
And I think overwhelmingly, well, I don't think, I know overwhelmingly that when people do support what we're doing, they're very appreciative of what we're doing. What we're finding, though, Sheriff, is people don't really realize what we're actually doing. They don't know. Does that make sense?
I'm responsible for fixing cars. I'm responsible for being a lawyer. I'm responsible for being a doctor.
Yeah.
If their power meter goes out, I'm supposed to turn it back on. I realize I got a lot of responsibilities I wasn't aware of when I took this job.
And you're in your fourth term? Fourth term. He's in his fourth term. I'm in my third term, and there's still things that we find out today that, oh, I didn't know I was supposed to know that or supposed to be in charge of
But
that.
now, no matter what the call is, if someone calls and you're going, you respond. If it's a call that you're going, I didn't know that was in the realm, you respond.
We're like information central. You
Yes.
know, if they got a problem, they're going to call the sheriff's department. They know the sheriff's department's going to point them in the right direction
Right.
if they're not directly responsible for your problem.
Right.
Hey, let's check in with our Major
Okay.
Tedford and
Well,
Captain Buxton.
I know Captain Buxton. I
So I'm
believe
gonna
he's
go
still
ahead.
there.
I'm gonna go.
Are you there, Captain?
I'm here.
Okay. Let's see. Where are you in Jones County right now? You started on the Covington County line on Highway 84.
Hold on.
All right. So you
Right
got
here.
that on the map?
Right here.
Okay. Now that has taken 20 minutes.
All right, 20 minutes to go from the Covington-Jones County line, and you just got on Highway 84 East. That's 20 minutes of driving.
And that's mostly a
That's,
four-lane
it's straight
highway.
four
That's
lane.
straight.
It's
yeah.
straight 4-lane highway.
Okay.
All right. Thank you,
All
Captain.
right. Thank
Check
you,
back.
Captain. Be careful.
All right, Major, where are you at?
I'm crossing over Highway 84 that goes to Wayne County at this time.
Okay, so you started at the Forest and Jones County line on the interstate, and 20 minutes later, you're basically at the center, a little better in the center of the county.
Yes, sir. On my trip, it says 20 minutes and it's 22.7 miles. What it shows that I'm from, and I'm traveling the speed limit.
Okay.
Okay, and that's another thing.
Thank
Keep
you,
in mind,
Nick.
the speed limits that they're traveling are not 45 mile an hour. I mean, these are
65 and 70.
right 65 and 70 miles per hour on open roads. And I think the point's already been made. It's been 20 minutes and they're not through the county yet. But how many calls do you have that are
On the interstate.
on the
and
interstate?
four-lane highway.
Exactly. I mean, you start going those the roads through the Myrick community, or you're through so and you're through these areas. It takes a while.
Sheriff, while you're here, we certainly appreciate you being here. We want to continue just to kind of tap into your views and knowledge on things. And this exercise that we're doing right here, when you start thinking about response times, what do you think? I can tell you wheels are turning. What are you thinking about?
Well, we share a lot of similarities with Jones County. You got major highways going, crisscrossing and stuff like that, but a lot of the communities, Baxterville, Talawa, Lumberton, Summerall, Melby, down 42, they're rural. You have to go down country roads to get to them. So your response time takes a lot longer. You know, and we try to patrol as much as we can, but when and you're larger than us, but we've got 500 square miles, and it takes a while to get one side of the county to the other.
Sure.
And the thing with that is, that's if you're responding to a call. You know, police presence is probably one of the most deterrents to crime. You know, omnipresence, make it look like they're everywhere, but you got to have the people to do it.
Yeah, and I've actually been doing a lot of studying on that. That's absolutely true. That visibility absolutely is the greatest deterrent to crime. Just thinking that there may be a deputy sheriff there, a badge and a gun, is actually a greater deterrent than the actual punishment itself.
Yeah, getting caught.
Getting
That's
caught.
right, getting caught. And so we're very big on that. And when you start thinking about the calls, I know y'all are running what?
550 an average. a
And
week.
y'all what? How many deputies y'all doing that?
Well, we're 27 in patrol.
Right.
47 is sworn officers.
Right. And per shift, y'all running about seven deputies per shift in Lamar County. And here
No,
we're
that's just patrol.
that's just the
Just
patrol.
patrol. Okay.
And
Not counting traffic or.
no, not counting traffic or any of the other things. Just in the patrol division, 7 deputies per shift patrolling Lamar County. And you heard him saying they run about 500 calls of service. We're running more than 500 calls of service with 4.5 deputies. When I say 4.5 deputies, we've got 2 shifts. It's only got 4 deputies. And we are extremely getting hammered out here. And our deputies, we was at a neighborhood watch meeting last night, and Sergeant Lance Williams, and if you know Lance, you know if we need an extra deputy, Lance
there.
is going to be there. He said he's only had 6 days. I didn't realize this, and it's a shame. 6 days off since Thanksgiving.
Goodness.
That's one thing that we have the luxury of being full staffed, that we don't have to bring people, unless it's a natural disaster or something like a tornado, which seems like Tornado Alley's come down from
Right in
Jones
your
County into
neighborhood.
Lamar
Yes,
County.
yes.
We run them
Sure
down
has.
your way.
Yeah.
But they take their days off. I mean, we don't have to call them
Yeah, it's to the point now up here where we have, we can't even consistently get our deputies to come in for overtime. And that's telling you how exhausted they are.
Yeah.
They are literally worn out. Brayden, hold that
Yeah,
map
I
up
think
over
this
here.
is kind of
this
proof
is
in the
kinda-
pudding of the greatest deterrent to
Come
crime.
behind,
Yeah.
just come behind us and hold it up. When you start talking about just in the last month alone, this is Jones County. And this is just felony arrest. Felony cases that we've started just in Jones County
May
in the
1st.
month of May. There's 92 felonies, just felonies, that we have opened just since the 1st of May. Whitney, what are for the year? 300 and
340. Here, let me.
Whitney is
Let me see this, Brayden. I'm gonna
348 felony cases that we've actually started since January the 1st. And folks, that means our investigators are handling, Sheriff, each of our investigators are working about 30 felony cases apiece.
How many investigators do you have?
6. Well, we got 6 criminal and 4 narcotic. So the 6 criminal investigators, I mean, you were a, thank you.
I'm sorry.
Thank you, that's
I think
good.
that was first.
You were an investigator with Hattiesburg PD. Can an investigator work 30 active felony cases?
Not the way they're supposed to be worked, not in a timely manner. And a lot of the felonies need to be done in a timely manner because the longer you wait, the colder the trail gets, and so the evidence, you can lose it. So that's a big caseload.
That's it. And I have 2 investigators that's only been up there 6 months. So they're 6 months in as an investigator, and both of them are handling over 20 cases apiece.
I know that you have actually mentioned this and you've been asked this before, but I kind of want to do it in this capacity. You're telling people to be careful, to watch out. At the same time, a lot of people have Facebook, and a lot of people probably watching now, or some people watching right now, could know a lot about the burglaries, let's say, that have gone on, could have been involved in them. Are you not giving them a heads up that, hey, guess what? We only have 4 deputies out there.
Absolutely, and that's one of the things that I was criticized for, but it's like he says, dang if you do, dang if you don't, and it's my responsibility to make sure that we warn the people of the dangers that they're facing on a day-to-day basis. Because if your home was burglarized, or your child was sexually assaulted, or your child was raped, or something to this nature, and I'm sitting over here being quiet about the fact that we're having these things go on, I promise you one thing, you'd be tearing my clutch out. And so I would rather be criticized for telling too much, Sheriff, than not telling what we know.
Yeah, I was just asking Brayden, because he was the first one on the scene yesterday, what his response time, and it was less than 10 minutes. And I had 3 media outlets calling me before he even got there because of social media, asking me what's going on. I said, well, when we get there, we'll let you know. We're not even there yet.
Yeah.
Right.
So, social media is another thing that it can be your friend, but it can be your your nemesis too.
Oh, absolutely. And you like I am, we put ourselves out there. We're accountable to people. We want the people to know. And I know you have a great supportive board, and I don't know if you've heard, but we've had some bridge issues up here in Jones County.
You hadn't been hearing anything
really?
about Jones County lately.
Matter of fact, you text me on the way up here. What was your joke to me about? Me and him as pranksters, by the way. What'd you say?
I said I would be a little late because all the bridges are
You don't have to whisper, we know.
We can laugh about it, but in all seriousness, it's not funny. And that's what's got the people's attention up here in Jones County. 24 bridges. How many did y'all have out?
None.
El Nino, El Zero, no bridges out in Lamar County.
Your
but
Spanish
we had,
needs some work.
Yeah, we had 26 actually wound up being closed here in Jones County. And it does affect our response times, and certainly it's hit home with the people. The people have now tuned in, and we're able to get their ear. I'm being flagged by my son,
I've got a
Brayden,
comment to
Deputy
add.
Sheriff.
He's got what's from the
I've got a
audience
comment
now.
to add about the response time. It was about 10 minutes, but luckily because I was right there in Purvis about to go to court. So luckily I wasn't on the other side of our county when that call came out. I was right there on Main Street in Purvis when the call came out. So it took me about 10 minutes to get over there. So
That's
it was just luck of the draw on that one because I was right there on top of it.
And Sheriff, we've been talking about that a good bit too. We talked about it last night at the neighborhood watch meeting. If our response times, as you can see, and by the way, blue lights don't mean that we can just turn it on and run wide open, blow red lights and all those other things. And so that's why we're doing this exercise at driving the speed limit, so that you can see even increasing the blue lights is not going to increase response time by that much. But one of the things that we've been talking about is actually the response times and how long it takes for a deputy sheriff to get there. And like you said, any amount of time when you need the law is too much time.
Right.
It is, and people have to realize too that even with 7 people or 7 deputies working on a shift, there's certain calls that you have to send 2-man units to.
Absolutely.
So now you're down to 5. Okay, let's say that there's a wreck with injuries and the road's blocked and it's on Highway 98 by the King Road, which is a major intersection in Lamar County. You've got to have deputies there. You've got to have police officers there because it's dual jurisdiction. And so now you have 2 officers directing traffic and 1 working the wreck. Now you're down to 1 or 2. And then if something else happens, so
It is always.
like that.
Okay,
Oh, we got-
it's
let's go. All right,
12:31.
yeah.
Let's
Okay.
see
Oh,
where.
we're running over time.
Yes, we are. Okay, 12:31. Let's see. We've got Captain Buxton on the phone. Captain Buxton, where are you located now?
All right, he's Highway 84 East at Mill Creek Road, and we are 31 minutes into this scenario, and he's within a couple of minutes of the county line. So, folks, to
All
drive
right.
from Covington County, I'll see if he's on it.
All
To
right.
drive from Covington County
You there?
on Highway 84,
Okay. All right.
to come across Highway 84 to the Wayne County line, driving the speed limit is 30 to 35 minutes response.
And that speed limit is 65.
65 on a
I mean,
four-lane
now
highway.
that speed limit is, it's a 4-lane highway, and it makes a big difference.
Yeah,
All right,
that's
you got-
not Rayner Road or RV Lindley Road or.
And
or-
it's a pretty day.
And it's pretty.
the weather is cooperating with good driving.
All right.
Okay,
All right.
well, the
And
city will
also,
slow you down a little bit.
Now we've got Major Jamie Tedford on. Major Tedford, tell everybody where you're at.
I'm just pulling up to the Jasper County Jones line on I-59 northbound at the 107 mile mark, and it was 31.7 miles, 31.7 miles, right at 29 minutes.
Okay.
All right, thank you so much, Major.
Thank you,
We
Major.
appreciate it. So folks, you can see to go, and that's again 4-lane highways, 30 minutes to get from the east to the west, from the north to the south, and that's going on 4-lane highways. And folks, I don't know about you, and understand this: they were waiting for us just to pick up the phone. I mean, how often are deputy sheriffs just sitting
Right.
there waiting
They
on
were-
something
they were-
to do?
yes,
Are your
exactly.
deputies just sitting around waiting on something to do every day? All the time. That's
That's what he says.
that's the response time once they get on your call. And that's what people need to understand is what the message that we're trying to give you is 30 minutes if they're available at the time you call.
They may have to be finishing up another call.
Right. Right.
9 times out of 10, when you're running 500 and 600 calls a week, they're not going to be just sitting there waiting. Adam Cochran, one of our sergeants, and I know we got to go. Last night, he was speaking, done a great job, and those that came to the neighborhood watch meeting last night, and he was saying that he didn't say every now and then. He said it's rare that we actually get down to sit and enjoy a meal. And when they do, they get criticized because there'll be 3 or 4 of them trying to get something to eat. But that is very rare that the actual patrol division gets to go sit down and eat. Folks, we appreciate you tuning in to Live SO. Sheriff Danny Rigel.
I enjoyed it.
Thank you so much for
Very,
being with us.
hey, Lamar County, best in the business. We are
He
very.
gave it to you.
I was going to throw it back at him.
He's going to throw it, yeah. But in all seriousness, all of our sheriffs out there, we'll be having other sheriffs on in the future. We get along great. We're very blessed in our area to have a wonderful partnership, working together. We are making a difference. Get our magazines, our Jones
Please.
County Sheriff's Department magazine. Those are free. Again, 100% of that goes to our benevolence fund here at the Jones County Sheriff's Department. And ask your questions. My cell phone's out there, 601-498-9501. We want you to be a part of what we're doing. We're here for you. We're looking out for you. God bless you, and we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.